Hello everyone, welcome to Modular Asset Creation tutorial for UDK. First off, thanks to Philip K for providing this texture on his website. I'm gonna quickly start on the process and I'm just gonna keep on working, gonna talk less. Before I start, I'm just gonna show you the key principle, before you actually do the modeling. And the thing is, first you decide your texture size. Could be like 4096 to 2048. This sheet over here is 1024 by 1024. And coming over here in preferences, you come to units, guides, grid slices, and this is the important bit over here. You grid line every 128 pixels and subdivisions to 1. Now think of it as this grid as a 128 by 128 pixels over here, which actually is 128 by 128 units in UDK. It will all get clearer when I'll just move this texture to 3D Studio Max. So what I've done is basically grab these sheets on modular pieces, like they are pre-built in his texture sheet, and I'm just using the same, so just to save time and focus on the process itself. So if let's say we grab this texture, and if it's spit out like this and it doesn't fit over here, so you can adjust it back for any texture, like if you're grabbing it from a photo source or anything like that, make it align to the grid. That's the whole idea basically. Why I'm saying this is because if you see this is 128 by 128, it's 256 is 512. So I know that this is a 512 by 512 square box, and if I copy and paste this exactly in Max, it will give me a perfect UDK 512 by 512 unit floor piece or a roof piece. Just before I move it to UDK, I'll just show what I'm exactly doing. So let's say I have space here for 256 by 512 piece. So I'm just gonna grab this. Now, as you can see, I explained this a bit earlier. So it's kind of like off right now. It's not coming up on the grid. So it's, as you can see, it's just going a little bit out of the grid line. So we can minimize it, and it's not going to be much of a problem. But don't do this on very larger outer boundaries. It will just give you weird texture artifacting or stretching. Most probably stretching will be the issue over here. So I'm just gonna grab it. See, this is the thing I'm talking about. Like, this is gonna be way off, but just for the sake of explanation, it's enough. So texture sheet's done over here. I've quickly grabbed these like trim pieces, and if I turn off the grid, so the thing that I have in my mind is like few trim pieces, which will be like these trim pieces, a generic floor piece, roof pieces, and some ventilation shafts and their covers and stuff like that. And we have a wall over here. Okay, so I'm just gonna move to 3D Studio Max. I've already made a plane over here, and now you can note over here on this side, the texture size in Photoshop I use 1024, but over here I have half the resolution. And the reason I've done that is usually when you make the texture go higher and then reduce the size of it. So that's one thing. The second thing I'm gonna show you in just a second. In Max, you come over here in Snap Settings, Home Grid, excuse me, and grid spacing to 16 and major lines to 8. Well, grid spacing is this small square over here. That's a 16 16 16 squares, and that's the grid spacing that is in UDK as well by default. And these 8 lines, major lines, 8 lines are these 8 by 8, which is going to give you the 16 box. I'll show you what I mean. If I just quickly make a plane. So here you go. It's a 16 by 16 plane, but it has these segments, like 8 segments this way and 8 segments this width, which is making like 16. Simple stuff, power of 2 numbers kind of thing. Alright, so why reduce this size? That's the main thing. I could have done it in 1024, but then the sizes would be way off in UDK, and this is why. We made this texture in 128 by 128 grid spacing, and this is 128 by 128, and as we know, 96 units is the character height in UDK. So if I just quickly cut this piece out, then I know that my character would be somewhere around here where the pointer is in terms of height. So that's very important as well, and this will all come into pre-planning stage before making the texture, making these kind of textures actually. Okay, enough of talking. Now start working. Okay. Studio Max acting up funny again, which is I'm not surprised at all. Alright, problem solved. So I've just converted this into editable poly, the same plane, and I'm just gonna make this wall piece. I'm just gonna select the, excuse me, the whole polygons, and just gonna detach it. I'm gonna detach it as a clone, or I can just detach it from the sheet itself. For now, I'm gonna detach it as a clone. Alright, so this is a half, think of it as a half section of a wall, or you can make it anything out of it, like a panel or something like that. Right now we're gonna just make a wall out of it. I'm just placing the pivot point on a corner, which is very crucial, because when you move this in UDK, your pivot points need to be in certain corners so that you can make quick copies of your assets. Alright, so resuming back the process. Now if we look at our texture sheet again, you'll notice that there's nothing on the left or right, but something came up in my head that what if I need to extend the wall on the right side or the left side, make it like 1024 by 1024 size within max, and a complete huge segment of a wall. So how should we do that? Well, it's simple and easy. Just like the side segments, we turn on our snap tools and we just grab a 256 on this side. Sorry, just Max is acting really weird right now with the Camtasia running in the background. I've done nothing much since what I started doing. Shifts extrude the edges. Alright, cool. So it's 512 over here and 512 over here. So we have one big long wall section that we need. Let's assume. Okay, let's just double check it if it's 1024. Yes, it is over here in the width section. Now we just apply unwrap UV. We turn on our texture and we just select the faces we want the textures to be applied. Just turn on quick planar map. So it's gonna be a big huge chunk right now we have on a planar map. So I'm thinking what should I have on the side? Maybe this piece over here. I can scale it down. There will be almost every time a certain amount of stretching going on, stretching or like pixelation when you're gonna use these kind of texturing method, and it's not so noticeable until unless you scale it very like this and your texture is like that. So that's obviously it's gonna look bad in UDK. So I'm just gonna come back. I'm just judging it by eye, like where I want this to be. I could have easily cut this piece out from the texture sheet and just placed it on the side. That you can do, but the process, the main thing is like to just show the process of how to work around on these texture sheets. Okay, that's one bit. Then now we're gonna select this. Quick planar map. Okay, notice I've just selected the top face. And the reason I've done that is because I want these grill kind of mesh over there. And for the bottom bit, I want to maybe get this concrete kind of a texture over here, which is kind of like similar to the metal grate textures over here. So I hope you're getting the idea. Like once you plan things out, like what stuff you need, it pretty much becomes straightforward, and it's a matter of like quickly cutting the pieces out from the texture sheet and just playing about with them. The only time you will get stuck is if you don't plan ahead. Really, it's I'm stressing on this because I've done the process myself and I learned the hard way, and that is like oh, you just can't make a texture quickly right away and then just start modeling it, because this piece that we are doing it right now, it might look good on its own, but if I make a copy of it, which I will do in a few minutes, it might not look good on the sideways, on a side-to-side copy. Okay, I've just done a quick test render of the piece, checking if it's looking alright, and just going to make a mirror on top of it. And here you go. And it's just 256 by 1024 units long wall piece. I hope it kind of helps you understand the process and what you can do. You can actually like get the faces out, extrude the faces out, and just keep on unwrapping. You can come up with really complex shapes with this method, and all you have to do is just apply this, keep on applying the same texture sheet. And I hope you enjoyed this short tutorial. Thank you very much for your time. See you guys.